Today we're gonna make one of my favorite dishes, Lahanodolmades, which is stuffed cabbage. To get started on making our stuffed cabbage, we have all our ingredients here for our filling and 1 head of cabbage. So this is how we're gonna get started. I have a pot on the stove of just boiling water, little salt so that it's ready. Bring it to a nice boil, and then we're gonna start blanching our cabbage. So here we have to take the core out. So we're gonna take a knife right into the cabbage. Cabbage is not like a head of lettuce. It's a little bit harder to take out the core, so we're gonna cut it. So we're gonna pop out the core of the cabbage, and now we're gonna take this to the stove and we're gonna blanch it. Take that one bad one off. We're gonna blanch this and start pulling off the leaves in the boiling water. So let's go to the stove. So here we have nice boiling salted water, and I'm gonna take the cabbage facing down, core side down, put that right into the boiling water. So we're gonna let this blanch for a couple minutes here, and then we're gonna flip it over and start pulling off the leaves. So now that we've blanched this for about 5 minutes, we're gonna flip this over. I just lowered the heat so that it's not boiling on my arm so I don't burn myself. We're gonna take this big fork here. I'm gonna put it in the middle of the cabbage, and I'm gonna start removing the leaves from the outside. Now that they've blanched, they'll easily come off. So we're gonna remove these one by one with the tongs. You could see that here. So I'm removing them. Now that we've blanched it, they remove nice and easy, like that. So our leaves that we've pulled off, I'm gonna transfer here onto a baking sheet. So we're gonna let them cool. Just blanch them enough so that we can take them off the core. You don't want to overcook them. You don't want them to get soggy. Take them off. The core that I have right here, I haven't gotten all the leaves off, so I'm going to put that back in the boiling water. That's when you know it's, when they're falling off, that's when it's cooked enough. I'm taking this off. Okay, get all these beautiful leaves out. Rinse this water. I'll let them cool over here. Now that we've blanched all our leaves, I have them here on the baking sheet to cool. Just kind of laying them out so that they can cool while we're making our mixture. So we'll leave those there. And now let's mix our filling. So we have ground beef. We have rice. Rinse it, drain it, put that in there. Chopped onion. Shredded carrot. We're gonna do fresh parsley, fresh dill, and our spices. So we're gonna do cumin, half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of salt. Beautiful. Clean hands. Take off my ring. And then we'll mix this up. And we're gonna mix this meat so that we can roll our stuffed cabbage. So, you guys are watching this at home. I love this recipe. I got this recipe from my mother-in-law. This is how she makes it. This is one of my kids' favorite things, especially my Zoe. She loves it. Some of the Greeks out there are gonna watch this recipe and they're gonna say, oh, my grandmother doesn't add carrots. That's okay. You don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing this. This is just the way I've learned. So I just wanna show that to you guys. I know everybody learns from different regions, and I would love for you guys to try this. It's so yummy. Please comment below and tell me how you've learned how to make this or how you ate this recipe growing up. I love to hear different variations of what you guys put inside the filling. So now our filling is ready and we have our cabbage leaves. So here, look at these beautiful cabbage leaves, okay? So when you're ready to roll these, you're gonna look here. This is the thick stem right here of the cabbage. And that part is not so great. So we're gonna take this, lay it down, take a knife away from your fingers. You're just gonna trim this a little so that you're not eating this thick part of the stem. So we're gonna put that on the side. So now it's kind of all even and we can get ready to roll it. So here is our cabbage. To evenly distribute the meat, you always try to use some kind of measuring tool. It's about a tablespoon. So I have an ice cream scoop here. I'm gonna use that, put that in the center. And we're rolling it just like we would do like a burrito. Fold in the sides, or I should say gyro, or some kind of wrap, right? You fold in the sides and you're gonna tightly roll that just like this. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful. Okay, we're gonna keep going. So again, find the leaves, trim the stem. Again, I welcome any comments below on how you learned how to make this. So now when we have these, I tried to roll first the medium size and the smaller leaves, which are much more manageable, and look how beautiful they look. When you have the bigger leaves, I'm going to cut this, do the stem first, trim that. And then this one's really nice and big, so we're gonna cut it right in half, just like this, right down the center. So that way we can use it too. Because look how much, 1 pound of ground beef, look how many rolls we got out of this. And you're just gonna roll it the same way. Out of this one. There we go. You're gonna keep going until you use all the ground beef. So now that we've rolled all of our leaves, we've used all the ground beef, all the filling. So I have about 24 rolls here. So amazing. The remaining cabbage that we have here, these leaves we're gonna use to layer the bottom of the pot before we boil. But this part here, the extra core that we didn't get the leaves off, we're just gonna chop this here. And we're gonna spread this out in the bottom of the pot. So I have our pot here. This is the pot that I used earlier. I always try to be cautious of how much cleaning you have when you're cooking. So I had the same pot that I boiled the cabbage in, I drained it, and now we're gonna use it to cook our rolls. So here's the cabbage. I'm gonna spread this out on the bottom of the pot. So we're gonna take 2 of the whole leaves. I'm gonna lay this on the bottom. I'm gonna leave a couple of leaves for the top because we're gonna now put all of our rolls in here. So I'm gonna put one more here. We're gonna take our cabbage rolls. So we're gonna lay our rolls here in a circular pattern. We're gonna keep going so that we can layer them all in our pot. Perfect. So now we have them all, our cabbage leaves in here. We're gonna take the other leaves that we have. We're gonna cover it. There we go. Now we're gonna go over to the stove. Now we're on the stove. We have cabbage leaves on top, and I took a stick of butter here and I cut it into little slices. I'm gonna cover the whole top of this with butter. Extra flavor. So we're gonna put the butter all around. Perfect. Now we're gonna add 1.5 cups of chicken broth. You wanna cover all the leaves with enough liquid. So I did the chicken broth. We're gonna add a little bit more water depending on the pot you use. So you're gonna add the liquid so that it comes up to the edge of your leaves. A little bit more. So now we have enough water to cover the cabbage leaves, and I'm gonna take a plate, find a plate that fits in your pot. We're gonna put that right down here to cover them. I'm gonna turn on the stove. we're gonna bring that to a boil. Now that you see our water has come to a boil, we're gonna lower the heat to simmer, cover this, and we're gonna cook this on simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour. So it's been about 50 minutes. Taking this off here. We're gonna take the plate off. So these are nice and tender. The way you really check is to make sure the rice is cooked completely. I can feel that the rice is cooked so that they're ready to go. So now we're going to turn off the heat and we're gonna make our avgolemono. So to make our avgolemono, we need the hot liquid. So I'm gonna try to ladle out about 1.5 cups of the liquid. So when we're making our Avgolemono sauce, we're gonna temper it with the hot liquid. I've turned off the heat on this, and we're gonna leave the pot. So for our Avgolemono, we're gonna do 3 eggs, and we're gonna use just the yolks. So I'm gonna separate them here. So our 3 egg yolks, and we're gonna do 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice. And we're gonna use the hand mixer to make this nice and frothy. So now you see this nice and froth, the egg and the lemon, and now we're gonna temper it with our hot liquid. So this one is, you wanna do this slow. We're gonna put it on low. That's the low setting. And we're gonna slowly pour in the liquid. So now our avgolemono is ready. And one last step before we go back over to the pot, I'm gonna leave this aside. We're gonna do a cornstarch slurry. So we have cold water here. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons cornstarch. And we're gonna put this into our pot because this will make it nice and thick. Perfect, so we have this ready. Now let's go over to the pot. So we're gonna take off the top layer of our cabbage leaves that we had. Pull those off. And now you see all our delicious stuffed cabbage rolls. So now we're gonna add our avgolemono to the pot. So now we have our avgolemono all around. We're gonna put medium heat to the pot. And we're gonna add our cornstarch slurry. So you can't mix this like you would in avgolemono soup. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the pot and we're gonna turn it around like this because you don't wanna break up your rolls. So you're just gonna turn it so that we can combine the cornstarch throughout the mixture here. It's gonna thick up the avgolemono and we're gonna put it back on the medium heat. We need to just cook the cornstarch. So it's about 4 to 5 minutes. Let that cook and then we're ready to serve. Our avgolemono is nice and thick. They look amazing. So we're gonna replate this. We're gonna take the rolls out. So there's the excess cabbage that we had in the bottom of our pot. I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna ladle off the, oh my God, the avgolemono smells so good. I'm just ladling that on top before we're serving it. Now, of course, you could serve it in this pot for dinner. I'm just replating it to show you. So here we go, look at this. For me, the avgolemono is so good, I would eat it as like a soup. So here we go. We're gonna take this, and we're gonna garnish it with some fresh parsley. And this dish looks great. For the full recipe, visit nikkiglakis.com. And don't forget, leave your comments below on how you would make this dish or if you added something else to your recipe. And follow me on Instagram and check out my Amazon store for some of my favorite products.